guys, Mr. K here, and this is the Tecno Camon 16 Premier, and I'm sure that you're wondering why Tecno Mobile has launched two different Camon devices in the space of 1 year. Well, I don't have the answer to that question, but I do have with me the Camon 16 Premier. And yes, it is actually an upgrade from the Camon 15. For example, the design has been revamped. It is still plastic and it gives off this Huawei vibe, especially with that squared camera at the back. Now, specs wise, there are a lot of upgrades. For example, we now have a 90 Hz refresh rate, the first of its kind on any Tecno device. And yet the fingerprint has also been placed by the side, and it's quite fast. Another upgrade is with the selfie camera, and it does actually come with two modes. So we have the regular selfie mode and the wide angle selfie mode. And yeah, so a couple of nice upgrades. But yesterday, the specs on the Camon 16 Premier is actually similar to that of the Zero 8. Coincidence or strategic? I'm thinking strategic, right? But during my time using the Camon 16 Premier, I did notice a couple of differences between these two devices, which I'll delve into later in this video. Moving on to the unboxing, and we have the regular suspects. However, if you're getting the Camon 16 Premier during the pre-order period, you'd actually get a new accessory from Tecno. So Tecno Mobile has officially launched their version of the AirPods along with the Tecno Camon 16 Premier. And yes, this is it. It actually opens up nicely, and I got the black version. I don't know if there are other colors, but this is the black version. My first impression about this is it really looks big. Now, moving on to the device itself, and I did notice a couple of features and issues with this guy. And I'll be starting off with the features. Now, the first feature that I like is the charging speed. So I was able to charge it from 0 to 72% in about 30 minutes. Crazy. Like, I don't know. I didn't expect it from Tecno. And for those wondering, I was actually able to charge it from 0 to 100 in about 1 hour, 10 minutes. So yeah, the charging speed on this guy is really amazing. I don't know how it's going to affect the battery, if it's going to affect the battery negatively. That's still left to be seen. But for now, I'm all up about that speed. But yeah, the second thing that I love about this guy has to do with the refresh rate. So like I said, this is the first time Tecno is using a dynamic refresh rate on their devices. And guys, the difference is there. And when you pair that with the processor, everything is actually smooth. I didn't think there was any noticeable lag, especially when I'm playing a game or two while using the Camon 16 Premier. Like, it was really smooth. And as far as how it translates into, the benchmark score, it did well. Now, to give you a bit of perspective, I paired it with the Mi Note 10, which is also an excellent device, and the Camon 16 Premier at an edge. Now, guys, bear in mind that the Mi Note 10 actually comes with 6 gigs of RAM, so it's quite expected, right? Now, the third thing that I like about this guy is with the camera setup. So yes, we have 4 camera setup at the back along with 5 LED flash, right? But when you open up the camera app, you see that a lot has changed. Now, one major change has to do with the video mode. Now, guys, we can now shoot in 4K 30 frames per second. Finally! Like, long time coming, but yes, it's finally here. We can shoot in 4K 30 frames per second on a Tecno device. And yeah, there are also different video modes. For example, you can shoot in 1080p 60 frames per second. When you slow it down, it gives you that buttery smooth slow-mo. And aside from that, one feature that I feel that is quite cool with the Camon 16 Premier is the portrait mode in video mode, right? So, normally you get the portrait mode for pictures. I mean, this is everywhere, but most phone manufacturers don't include this feature when you're using videos. Now, for the Samsung devices, you have that. It's actually called live focus mode, right? So if you're using live focus mode in video mode, you can actually make the character stand out and the background blurry. And Tecno Mobile has actually implemented this on the Camon 16 Premier. Yes, it's not perfect. I feel that it still needs a lot of work. The edges can look a little bit blurry and all that, but it's still great to have nonetheless. And yet Tecno Mobile has also included a super steady mode, and it makes the video smooth. But I did notice that it has like a bit of lag to it. But like I said, it's still great to have nonetheless. And here's a bit of comparison between the Camon 15 and the Camon 16 Premier. But yeah, moving on to another feature that's been included into the camera setup. So for the first time ever, we're getting 3 different slow-mo modes. Now here's my thoughts. In well-lit environment, you might like the result, but in low light, it might not be so great, right? But yes, one thing that I really like, and that's the fact that you can also use the slow motion mode for the front camera. So imagine if you maybe have a long hair, unfortunately I don't, and you're trying to flip your hair or whip your hair back and forth. Yeah, it works. Like, it's really cool. I like it. Like I said, unfortunately I don't have a long hair, so you can't really see the effect, but I think it's great to see that they've integrated it with the front camera, because most of the time we're used to seeing it at the back camera. And moving on to the third feature, and that has to do with the AR Doodle. Now guys, this is also on the 08, right, for those who are wondering. Now to give you a bit of perspective into this, right, the first device that I've used this feature on is actually the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. So it's called the AR Doodle, and it allows you to scribble objects into your environment and even allow you to interact with it. Now here's one cool thing that I feel Tecno has added to make this thing slightly different from what I've seen in the past, and that has to do with the 3D model. So if you place your camera on a flat surface, you get a 3D model and you have access to different objects that you can use. That's cool. I really do like it. There's a chance that after 2 weeks I probably might not use this app at all, but for now I like it. And now moving on from that, one last thing that I noticed that is slightly different from what we got on the 15 is the fact that Tecno Mobile has integrated a photo compressor. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's cool to have, but some people might not want to have it. Which brings me to the first issue that I noticed on the Camon 16 Premier, and that has to do with the UI. And guys, I think I've mentioned a couple of times, I feel that Tecno Mobile needs to adopt a clean UI. Like, enough of all of these ads and pop-ups, which is what the Camon 16 Premier has. I think it borrowed it from the Camon 15 and other predecessors, because guys, it actually comes with a lot of ads, comes with a lot of notification pop-ups that you might not even be interested in. You will not be interested in. Of course, you can disable this by uninstalling the application or installing a third-party launcher. But why enable it in the first place? Yeah. Now, the second issue that I noticed with the Camon 16 Premier has to do with the audio or the sound. Now, it comes with a downward firing speaker. It's a mono speaker. And yes, of course, when you're playing a game, it means that it might be muffled a bit. But one thing that I noticed is that the sound is not as great as the one on the Camon 15 Premier. So guys, listen to it. Let me know what you think. Now, the last issue that I did notice on the Camon 16 Premier, at least during my short time with it, is the dynamic range. I think it has a low dynamic range, but I'm going to do like a full comparison where I compare with other devices. So let me know if you want that, and if you do, I'll definitely drop it before the end of the week. Fingers crossed. So that is pretty much all there is with the features and issues that I've noticed during my short time with this device. By the way, this costs about 115,800 naira. So if you're coming from the Camon 12 and you're looking to get the new Camon device, then this is probably your best bet, because it comes with a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of upgrades from the Camon 15. So that is it. Let me know if there are any issues that are deal breakers for you. I'd like to know, and if there are any features that blew your mind away, kind of. I'd like to know in the comment box. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.